Session, there will be 3 keynote speakers. The first is Mr. Hashar Dwabas, PhD. I'm sorry if I pronounce it pronounce it wrong. Incorrect pronunciation. Sorry, sir.
No problem. That's fine.
The second one is Dr. Ahmed J. Obaid, and the last one is Dr. Ahmed Elgar. To shorten the time, I'll invite Ms. Astrid to lead the session. Time is yours. Thank you.
May I start it, Dr. Judith? Oh, Dr. Andy.
Please check your microphone, Ms. Astrid.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you to Ms. Judith for giving me the chance. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our next session of the conference after the break is about to begin. And thanks to you for preparing yourself to still join in this virtual conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Astriwati Biringkanae. I am the moderator for this session. I'm very pleased to meet you here and welcome to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, our speaker for this session is Mr. Basar Blebas. I'm sorry if I have the mispronounce of your name, Mr. Hazar. Okay, as we can see, Mr. Hazar is a MSc in Applied Statistics in UCF, USA. Mr. Hazar also a PhD candidate in Statistics Department at Salahuddin University, Erbil. Mr. Hazar also a lecturer in Statistics Department and also a director of Career Development Center at Salahuddin University, Erbil. And the last but not the least, Mr. Hazar also a CEO and founder of STAD Office for Statistical Data Analysis and Training. Before the presentation begins, let me remind to all the participation how our presentation will be going on. First is the presentation of the material, and all the participants will not allowed to be to give any question in live, but you can type it on the chat box. So, ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to welcome Mr. Hazar to deliver his presentation about best data analysis in scientific research. Dear Mr. Hazar, time is yours.
Thank you so much. Could you hear me? The slide's fine?
Fine.
Thank you so much for everyone. Good morning for the Iraqi students or Iraqi people, and good afternoon for the people who are living in Indonesia. Today, it's my honor to be one of the keynote speakers in the first UKI Toraja International Conference of Education and Science. I'm so glad to be here to discuss one of the topic, which is a really important topic for everyone who want to work on the thesis, dissertation, writing a paper, and doing anything according to data analysis. The title for today would be Best Data Analysis in Scientific Research. Before I'm starting, I'm gonna say something which is the most famous person in statistician named Carl Pearson said, statistics is a grammar of science. For example, you said, this is one language and this is another language, but this person has said statistics is a grammar of science. It means once you work with the numbers, it's going to tell you something else. Another one, Ernest said, if your experiment needs statistics, you ought to have a better experiment, which is really interesting. Now we're going to start it. The process of data analysis in scientific research, there's a lot of process along the way, and I'm going to explain some of them, which is, first of all, you have to choose the problem. If you do have a problem of phenomenon, it means you can work on a thesis you're going to undertake. You're going to investigate something new. And then it depends on the problem you have it, you need to collect the data. How you're going to collect the data, you're going to discuss in this session. And then once you have the data, you need to organize it in the best way. If you organize your data correctly, it's easy for you as a researcher to analysis, which is one of the part in this session, and then you're going to get the result. First of all, I'm going to write down something in here, how you're going to choose the problem of phenomenon. For example, if I said divorce, everyone knows divorce is a problem. If you don't solve it for a while, in some of the country, it becomes a phenomenon because it's not easy to control now. But this is not the whole title. If you said the reason of divorce is much better than just we said the divorce, because the divorce is really general. And then I'm going to say statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce. It's much better than the other topics. If I make stronger, I said statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce between men and women. And now I'm going to do some comparison between the men who get divorced, the women who get divorced, which is more complicated, but it's going to give me more and more results. Finally, I'm going to specify one area, which is Erbil city. I said statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce between men and women in Erbil city as Iraq, one of the city in Iraq. Now, I completed my title, which everyone know. This is the clear title. This is everyone who read this paper, they know where they did, how they did, what's the reason for that topic. It means the topic, the problem should be clear and easy to understand to everyone who's gonna read your paper or thesis. And then the process of collecting the data, it's really a long process. It's not just 1-2 steps and that's okay. We need to follow step by step how we're going to collect the data, because this is one of the tough, difficult, and important part in your research. First of all, you have to define the population that you have it, because if you don't have the population, how are you going to choose the sample? It means depend on the population that you have decided to work on it, you're going to choose the sample. From the sample, how we're going to choose the sample? You have a lot of criteria to calculate the sample size of your research. It's not randomly just said 10% of your data set is fine to be your sample. No, you have to follow one of the formula. For example, you can follow the Cochrane formula to get out the exact sample size that you need in your research. And then what kind of the sampling you're going to choose it. You have two types we're going to discuss in the next slides. And then which source of data collection is the best source for your data collection. What the method of the data collection you're going to use it, which method might be you're going to use more than 2. And if you need the questionnaire form, you have to construct the questionnaire form, especially once you use the primary source data collection. And then the important thing, before you follow, you distribute all the forms that you have it, you have to do the pilot test or pre-test. We're going to discuss also this part in the future slides. Calculate the sufficient sample size. How do you know this is enough sample size of your data set? As we said in the previous slide, you have to follow one of the formula. Okay, before you create the parts, decide your sample size either by looking the other studies. For example, there's a lot of studies. Before you're done, you can follow them or you can read them to know how many data set needs in your thesis or paper. Or you can using statistics, as we said before. And here we said, if the sample size is too small, it's not going to represent your population. Or if your sample size is too big, it's going to costly for you. Maybe you're going to waste your time, you're going to waste your money. You don't need to make a cost. So that's why we're going to follow the Cochrane. Cochrane, in the beginning, the Cochrane formula is like that, Q1 minus P if, over the error term square. And then if you look at the second one, includes the number of the population in here. We're gonna describe each of them in here. Z is the Z value. It means if you set 95 confidence level, it's gonna give you 1.96. P is an estimation of the population. You're gonna decide the proportion of the population is 0.5. If the one is 0.5, the Q would be 1 minus that, which is always also the same 0.5. And then this is the error margin. It's really important. If you reduce the error margin as much as you could as a researcher, it's gonna more accurate data set. It is gonna give you more accurate result, okay, by reducing the margin error. And N is a population size. If you have the 1,000 a population size, depend on this info that you have it in here, it's gonna give you the sample size would be 278. Is that way if you use the Cochrane by your hand. If you use any online calculator, there's a lot of a bunch of online calculator. For example, you can follow this link. It's gonna give you the exact number that you have it by your hand. This is gonna give you the exact sample size that you needed, depending on the Z value, the proportion value, and the error margin, and the number of population that you're gonna choose your sample size from that. Once you have the number of sample size, you're gonna choose which sample, how you gonna collect your data. Now you know the population, now you know what the number of sample size you have it. We have two types of your sampling, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Under the probability sampling, it means every single element in the population has an equal chance to be selected. There is no bias in here at all. We have more than 4 types, but we're gonna discuss these 4, which is simple, stratified, systematic, and cluster under the probability sampling. Simple random sampling, it's like the lottery game. Everyone do the lottery game. You're gonna randomly choose 5
Hello, Mr. Hasan.
Mr. Blobas, are you there? Miss Astrid, your microphone is mute. Thank you. Mr. Blobas, are you there? I'm afraid that he has a problem connection.
Maybe moderator can continue the matter.
Halo, Mr. Russell.
Ulang salat itu sah. Kamu pergi sholat.
Maybe connection from
Mr.
Mr.
Blobas. Mr. Blobas, are you there, sir? Yeah.
As I know, in Mr. Hazard position is still morning. It's about 9 or 10 o'clock a.m.
Yes, it's a morning. It's a morning time for him. Yeah. Yeah, we hope that all is well. Yeah. Well, to all participants, we will deliver the attendance list at the end of the session. So we have to wait. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So to all the participants, we have to wait. I just remind you all.
Maybe while we waiting Mr. Hazar, I want to show profile of Toraja.
Tanah Toraja, a hidden paradise in South Sulawesi, Indonesia. A landscape with mountains that offer millions of beauty and timeless ancestral traditions. Here is the land of the king resides. Tanah Toraja, a mountainous area located 119 miles north from Makassar, the capital of South Sulawesi. With population of 200,000 people and with Makale as the capital city, the people of Tanah Toraja still maintain the traditions from the ancestral from time to time in centuries. This is one of the uniqueness of Toraja people that attract the attention of the world. In this place, thousands of traditional Toraja houses, tongkonan, still standing strong. The beauty of the landscape of the rocky hills and paddy fields still remain. The noble and sacred funeral ceremonies can be seen year-round. Or you can visit Toraja community funeral sites placed on beautiful cliffs, such as in Lemo, Suaya, or Tampang Alor.
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilson. Okay, they're all. I think Mr. Hazar is joined with us, so we can continue. Mr. Hazar, are you with us?
Yeah, I really apologize for that internet issue. Again, I'm really sorry for that internet issue. I don't know why it was happened for me. This is the first time.
Mr. Hazar, we can continue.
Excuse me, could you hear me, Dr. Judith?
Please, sir.
Excuse me, could you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you, sir.
Okay. Should I start in the beginning or?
Yes, it's okay. Yes, please.
In the beginning?
Yes, it's okay, sir. If you want to start from beginning.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna restart in the beginning. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Hello everyone. I'm glad to be here today. This is my honor to be one of the keynote speaker in the first UKIToiCES International Conference for Education and Science. Today I'm gonna discuss one of the important things in your thesis during your work in your thesis or any of the kind of the paper. The title for our session would be Best Data Analysis in Scientific Research. First of all, I'm gonna start with Carl Pearson as the most famous statistician. He said, statistics is a grammar of the science. It means like most of the language, you can see statistics is a grammar of the science. Once you work with the numbers gonna tell you a lot of things, and then you can interpret these numbers depend on the result that you got in your hands. Also, another statistician, Ernest, said, if your experiment needs statistics, you ought to have a better experiment. This is the process of the data analysis in scientific research. There is different kind of the process of data analysis. I'm gonna follow this process as I have it in my slides. First of all, we're gonna set how we're gonna start it. First of all, you need to have a problem of a phenomenon. Without the problem, it's not easy to start any data analysis. Once you have the problem, you need to collect the data. Of course, we know that collecting the data, it's not easy. It's a long way to collect the data. We're going to discuss it in the future slides. And then once you have the data, you have to collect it or organize it as much as you can, because this part going to help you easy to analysis, and then analysis data, and then you're going to get the result. I'm going to follow these steps to get the best result. First, how are we gonna select the problem of phenomenon? Of course, if just I said divorce, everyone knows that divorce is a problem. If you couldn't try to fix that problem in your area or population, it's gonna become a phenomenon, and it needs time to reduce the phenomenon. And then, but everyone now divorce is clear title, clear topic. That's why I'm gonna say reasons for divorce. Even if you said the reason for divorce is not the clear or obvious title, that's why I'm gonna put something else. Statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce is much better than before. If I said statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce between men and women. Now it's more clear to understand because it's gonna compare the reasons for divorce, but between who? Between the men who get divorced and women who get divorced. And then I'm gonna specify the area that I'm gonna working on it and set statistical analysis for the most influential reasons for divorce between men and women in Erbil city as one of the city in Iraq which contain 18 or 19 cities. Now, this is the enough title. It's clear. Everyone know what the title is gonna talk about. It's gonna work on it. Once you have the title, you need to collect the data. As we said before, the collecting data, it's a long process. I'm gonna follow some steps in here. First of all, we have to define the population that we have. Without the population, it's not easy to take the sample. That's why you have to define the population in first time. And then you're gonna choose the sufficient, the enough sample size. Most of the statisticians follow the Cochrane formula, which is gonna give you the exact sample size that you needed in your thesis. And then sampling plan. Which sampling you're gonna choose it, probability sampling or non-probability. If you use the probability Y, non-probability Y, and so on. You're gonna discuss in the future slides. Source of data collection, which kind of source is gonna be the perfect source for your thesis. And then which method you're gonna use it to collect the data. If you need the questionnaire form, you have to construct the questionnaire form depend on the title and the hypothesis that you have it on your paper. And then one of the important thing, which is the pilot study, you can do more than one time to revise your formulas, revise your questions, and so on. You're gonna discuss also this one in the future. Slides. How are we gonna calculate the sufficient sample size? It said before recurring part 10, decide of your sample size. It means before you are working with the participation, who gonna fill out the form for you, who gonna participate your sample, you have to looking other papers, other students' work that they did before you to get more and more info on their papers, and then you can use it in your own paper. Or you can using statistics, as we said. Because if you have small sample size, it's not gonna represent your population. So that's become a problem. Also, if you have a lot of sample size, it's gonna most costly and you need more time. Why are you gonna make a cost, or why are you gonna use your time? So that's why we're gonna follow the Cochrane formula. We have two formula. The first one doesn't have the population size, and the second one, it has the population size. What these symbols in here, Z is a 95 confidence level. If you have 95, it's gonna give you 1.96. And then P is a proportion. Most of the statisticians, they said you're gonna set the 50%, it means 0.5 as a proportion. 1 minus P, it is equal to Q. E is an error margin. It's important things in here. If you reduce your error margin, it's gonna give you more accuracy of data, and more accuracy of data, it's gonna give you best result in your work. And a population size. If you have this info, depending on the Cochrane formula, it's gonna give you the exact sample size, which is 278. This is by hand. If you use any online calculator, follow this link. Believe me, there is a bunch of the online. I'm gonna follow this one. Depend on this form information that you have it's gonna give you the exact number that we did by hand, exact 278 as a sample size on your work. Once you have the sample size, it's really important to know which sampling you're gonna use it. We have two types, okay? Probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling, it means each element in the population has an equal chance to be selected. It means there is no bias at all for selecting the data set. We have more than 4 types, but we're gonna choose or discuss 4 of them. Simple random sample. Simple random sample is easiest way. It's like the lottery game. You're gonna pick out some of them randomly. It means every single student, employees, workers, any kind of your work has an equal chance to be selected. There is no bias at all. There's a randomization. The second one is a stratified sampling. Under stratified sampling, what's the difference from the first one? In here, first of all, we're going to divide the population in 2 or more than 2 homogeneous groups. For example, in here we have 1, 2, 3 groups. We divide it into 3 groups. They are pink, they are yellow, they are purple, and they are different shapes. And then in each of them, we're gonna take out the sample randomly. These numbers, these values, these person would be your sample size. For example, you have the gender, you're gonna divide your population into male and female. Under the males, you're gonna take out some of them randomly. Under the female, you're gonna take out some of them randomly. And then all these values would be your sample size. Systematic sampling, as a name mentioned, you have to arrange your data set from the smallest to the largest, or you have to number them. And then as a researcher or a scientific researcher, you're gonna pick one point or one of them as a starting point. For example, in here, we said the third one is our starting point. It means the third person, 6 of them, 9 of them, 12 of them, and so on. It means you're gonna pick 3 by 3 or 5 by 5. This is used most of the time once you have the line for example, for the restaurant's feedback, you're gonna choose systematically. Or if you enter the factory, you see a lot of production, you're gonna choose from the beginning of the production, from the morning, from the midnight, from the noon, from the first day, first week, first month, and so on. It means in each of them, systematically, you're gonna choose the sample. Cluster sampling. Under the cluster sampling, also you're gonna divide the population, but in here, there's no homogeneous. Randomly, you're gonna divide the population into several clusters, but there is no homogeneous in this cluster. And then randomly, you're gonna choose some of the cluster, not in each of the cluster choose 1, 2, 3 people. No, randomly select some of the cluster. If you look at here, we have randomly selected 3 clusters, and the people inside these 3 clusters would be your sample size. Second part, non-probability sampling. In here, there is no equal chance to be selected. There is no equal probability. We have 4 common types: convenience, judgment, quota, and snowball. First of all, the first one, it's a really common one, which is naming judgment, or some of them said the purposive sampling. In here, as a researcher, you're going to decide which one would be in your sample size. For example, everyone know the coach for the football team. The coach going to decide who would be in his team. For example, the football coach gonna choose out 21 players, and he believes these 21 players gonna represent the entire population that he has it. It means judgment in here. The coach is a judgment, and he is make sure that these 21 players represent the entire population that he has. How are we going to choose these 21 players? Depend according to their skills, powers, age, running, and so on. It's not randomly going to choose it. He know how they're going to choose these, and he is make sure and 100% sure that these 21 players going to represent the entire population that he has. Second one, convenience. Convenience, as the name mentioned. For example, if you are working for the student who reading the book, how are you going to distribute the form? If you go to the university, you're not going to distribute the form for every single student. As a researcher, you're going to think about it. Where is the exact place, or the important place for the readers? Oh, as a researcher said, library is the best place. I'm gonna stand up in front of the library. If you see any of the students who pass or enter the library, I'm gonna give them the form. And I thought these students who enter the library gonna represent the entire population in my topic, as talk about the reading the book. Snowball and networking. Snowball, most of the time you're going to use this one once your population is not easy to reach, is rare or hidden or hard to reach. The example from here, for example, drug addict, homeless people, unemployment people, Black minority ethnic, and so on. It's not easy to find out the homeless people, but if you find one of the homeless people and he gonna tell you he has some other friends, and these other friends gonna tell you more other friends, it's like the networking, or it's like the snowball. If you have a small snowball, if you throw out in the top of the mountain and it becomes larger, that's depending on our example. If you find just one of the homeless and he's gonna give you more too, and these two gonna give you more, and you're gonna expand your sample size as much as you want in your research. This is all we talked about the sampling plan. Now we're gonna set collecting the data. What's the definition of the data? What the data talk about? Data are the special type of the information generally obtained through the observation, survey, or generated of the result of the human activity for the purpose of the research. This is one of the definition of the data. In here, this is really interesting for me. It said data is a universal language. It's a universal language allowing all the statisticians, all the researchers to work together. It said no matter where they are, when do they live, but they're gonna work together on one of the topic and find out what's the best solution, what's the best result for that topic. That's what it said. Data is a universal language. It's really interesting for me as a statistician. It said data, why it's really important in your research. If you have the wrong data, of course, your analysis, your conclusion, your recommendation, your abstract would be not right at all. But if you have the exact, clear, or right data set, of course, your result would be good. Depend on your result, your conclusion, and your discussion would be great too. And you can make great recommendation on your research. That's why data is important. I'm going to show you something about the differences between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. First, if you just said 100, yes, 100 is a data, but it's not clear for us. If make information, it said 100 miles behind the 100, it's gonna tell you something. It's talk about the distance. How it becomes a knowledge? 100 mile is not quite for distance. It's expanded. Now it becomes the wisdom. It said it's very difficult to walk 100 miles, okay, by any person, but vehicle transport can do this. It means it's explained to you how it becomes a wisdom. It said it's not easy to walk 100 miles. Okay, that's great. But by vehicle, it's easy. That's why if you say just 100 data, 100 miles is the information and so on. Types of data, we have two types. Categorical data, it means qualitative data set. You have nominal and ordinal. Quantitative data and numerical data set, you have discrete. It means the real numbers, and continuous, there is some decimal. Source of collection the data, we have two sources, primary source data and secondary source data. The primary source data, it means the data set that you're gonna collect it by yourself using questionnaire form. It means you're gonna create the questionnaire form, and then you're gonna distribute it, and then collect it. This has become your own data. Secondary source data, some of them said historical source data. This is the data that someone else collected before you, and you're gonna reuse it by their permission. Also, you can find out the secondary data set on the directory. For example, if you talk about the divorce, you can go to the court to collect the data, or you can find in any of the journals on scientific papers, scientific books, and website, and so on. Methods of data collection, we have several methods to collect the data, especially once you create or construct the questionnaire form. You can do it online, face-to-face, or by mail or phone. Or most of the researchers said you can mix it, two of them or three of them, to reach your data set soon, okay, to keep your time and so on. Which method of data collection should I choose? Okay, this is a really interesting question. It's not always say face-to-face or online or mail. It depends on your title, depend on the population area, depend on the sample size. You're gonna decide which one is the best, or which two of them is the best of your collecting data. How are you gonna construct the questionnaire form? Questionnaire form, most of the statisticians said it's art rather than the science. Most of them said it takes longer time than you expected, okay, because it's gonna writing several drafts to become the qualify or the finalized questionnaire structure. How are we gonna start? How are we gonna begin? Okay, first of all, we're gonna write down the cover letter in front of your questionnaire form. You're gonna explain what the purpose of this, what's the important for the audience, for the readers, for the participation, who can fill out this form. This is a good way, I'm gonna say, hello, my name is this and this. I'm a student or a lecturer in that university, in that institution. I'm working on research under title, blah, 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 blah. In this course or in this thesis or in this master's degree or in this PhD and so on. I'm wondering if you have a time or 5 minutes to fill out these questions for me. Of sure, I'm a statistician, all your response would be in secret. I'm just gonna use it in the scientific paper and so on. And in the end, I would say, thank you so much for your time. It's a good way to start it. If you start like that, write down a good cover letter, the participant, the responder know that you are a scientific man or woman and you are not a spy. That's why you have to make it clear for them. Types of the questions, we have clause format, yes, no, maybe. What's the clause format? You're gonna press the responder to choose one of them. Multiple choice most of the time, yes, no, or strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Easy and quick to fill out. It's easy for the responder, just gonna click one of them, tick one of them. Easy to code and record and analyze this one. You want to work to on the data, it's easy to code it or recode it or analyze it. Easy to report the result. This is some of the property of the clause format. Open format. Allow the responder freely to answer. Okay, there is no obligation in here. Less restriction, allow for more depth, more think about these questions. When you're going to use it, you can use it on the feedback. For example, your age. Most of the time I said, don't make classification for the age because age is a quantitative data set. Once you have the quantitative data set, it's easy to make some classification. For example, it's said from 20 to 30 years, 31 years to 40 years, 41 years to 50 years, and so on. Because if you have the quantitative data, it's easy to classify. Don't make classification in your questionnaire form. Experience years also. Feedback of the restaurant. If you have the feedback of the restaurant, it's easy to make open format because you want the client to write down anything about your restaurant. That's to get more info. That's why you don't need to make the clause format in that situation. How to ask the questions inside your questionnaire form? Use short and simple. Don't make it any complicated questions. Okay, follow the KISS format. Okay, keep in short and simple always. Ask one piece in the time. Okay, just only one piece. For example, in here it said, please rate the global environment class in terms of its
Hello, dear Mr. Hassan. Are you there? Mr. Hassan? Okay. I think it's again about a lost connection with Mr. Hazar. Dear Miss Judith, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. As we know, the time for Mr. Hazar is only 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And yes. And how about this, Miss Judith?
Well, I'll ask Dr. Obaid. Are you there, sir? Maybe later when Mr. Blebas is here, we will ask for the presentation so we can share to all the participants. But I will check first, Mr. Obaid. Dr. Ahmed J. Obaid. Are you there, sir?
Hello.
Okay, there.
You're back.
Mr.
Welcome back.
Purposive.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry
no.
for today. I'm
No
so
worries,
sorry.
sir. It's a connection. Yeah, okay. You can
I'm so-
continue.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Everything all right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Okay.
How do I ask you questions? Okay. As I said, use short and simple. Okay. Follow the KISS method. Keep in short and simple always. Ask only one piece of the information at a time. For example, it said in here, please rate global environment class in terms of its content and presentation. It's going to ask you two pieces in one question, content and presentation. It's not easy for the responders to fill out to answer that question. That's why you have to make two parts in here. First part, please rate the class in terms of content, and then please rate the class in terms of the presentation. And now it's clear for the audience, for the responders, one of them is talked about the content and the second one talk about the presentation. Next slide. As much as you could, avoid the negative questions, okay? You can revise it to the positive questions as much as you could, okay? Start the questions relevant to the main topic. It means the important one would be in the beginning. Or it said, questions should be logical order from the easiest to the hardest. First of all, just give them the clause format, okay? Because the clause format is easy to fill out, to tick it. And then if you have some open format, put it in the end of the form. Personal questions should be avoided. Don't ask them, what's your name? Or if your topic doesn't talk about the salary and such like that, it's not related to the salary, why you ask them how much you're gonna get as a salary monthly? No, you don't need to do that. For example, your topic it's not related to the divorce and widow and such like that. You don't need to ask such question like that. Avoid these questions. Okay, that's why questions should be more specific about your title. The word of the question should be prepared without hurting. Okay, don't hurt someone. Okay, according to the question that you have it, question should be carefully framed as a cover entire scope of the survey. It means if your survey needs 25 questions, you have to write down 25, no more and no less. If you make more, some of the respondents said, why you have put these questions not related in your work? If you make less, they said, you have some other questions that are related to your work and you didn't mention. That's why we have to be careful. As far as possible, secret information should not be sought. It means these questions, okay, you have to be in secret. Don't show up to others. He said such like that, she said such like that. No, just you collect the data, the info to get the result. You don't need to show up to others who said that, who didn't say that. Question fetching, yes, no are preferable. Okay, most of the time, just you need to say yes, no. For example, are you smoking? Yes, no. You don't need to say maybe. Maybe one cigarette at a time, one cigarette a year. No, it's not the clear one. You have to just say yes and no. Pilot study, okay, it's one of the important. Once you finish all the forms, you have to do the pilot study. We're going to discuss in the next slides. This is the pilot study. Pilot study of the pretest of the survey to the smaller sample is suggested if possible. Okay, you're going to choose out, for example, 10 of them, 15 of them, 20 of them. What is gonna help you? It's gonna revise the questionnaire if needed. It means sentence by sentence, questions by questions on your questionnaire form. You can revise it before you distribute all the formats. Some of the questions you put the open format and you said, everyone said such like they are really far from your answer. That's why you have to make closed format instead of the open format. Help you estimate the variability in the response, how they respond in that questions, and the second one and third one. Some of them you imagine they have to respond such like that, and you said in different things right now, so you have to revise it. Allow you to discuss other people, okay, to make stronger questionnaire that you have it. And also you can take the reliability test of your questionnaire form. Is that reliable or not? If yes, you can keep and distribute all the forms you have it. If not, you have to change some of the questions. For example, you put some negative questions, you have to make a positive. Some of the questions not clear, you have to make clear questions, and so on. Now, once you have the data, another part is coming, which is organize the data. How are you going to organize the data? You're going to put all the forms in one place and then make the ID for each of the form to recognize them in the later. For example, if you do any mistake, especially during the data entry, you can go back to the exact form and to re-enter the form that you have it. Cleaning the data and coding, you have to clean the data and coding. How? First of all, you have to remove the duplicate cases. You don't need to the duplicate cases. It means same answers, okay? You don't need this two persons same answers or one person fill out two forms or three forms with the same answer. No, you don't need such like that. That's why you have to remove all the duplicate cases. Remove incomplete cases. For example, you see some of the cases, there is a lot of missing. 50 of them or more than 50 of the questions are missing. It's not easy to solve these missing, that you have to remove these incomplete cases. Find outlier. Outlier is going to affect your result. That's why you have to find it, solve it, or do some other tests that you needed on this situation. Find missing value. If you have the missing value, you have to find it and fill out all the missing value depending on what you have it. The data should be cleaned and error-free, okay? All your data should be clean and there is no error, and then you can go to the next step. Make transformation you need. For example, some of the questions you need to make the transformation, especially for the normality. You said some of the variables not normal, you have to make the normal variable. That's why you have to make some transformation. Or for example, you have one variable, you're going to find another variable depending on the variable that you have it. For example, you have the height and weight, you can find the body mass index depending on these variables you have it. That's why you have any transformation, any new variable you want to do this, you have to do this before you go to the next step. 60 of the scientists said they most of the time for the cleaning data, organizing data, which is 57 of them said it's the hardest part on the research, okay? Initial data analysis, check the assumption. Some of the tests, some of the models needs to check the assumption before you are doing, okay? Before, especially the hypothesis testing, you have to follow the assumptions as much as you could, okay? Especially linearity, normality, system symmetry, and effect of uncommon observation, okay? If you have any assumption on any kind of the test, you have to check it and then do the test. Once you organize the data, it's going to help you to go to the next step, which is analysis the data. Once the data is collected, cleaned, and processed, is ready to analyze, or you might need to collect more. Sometimes you need to collect more data. Okay, be careful. You can add your data as much as you could. Data analysis means the process of cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover useful information for business decision making. Okay. Data analysis tool, we have a lot of tools like R, SAS, SPSS, SQL, MATLAB, Minitab, and so on. It's gonna help you to get your results soon. The goal, what's the goal of the analysis? To obtain usable and useful information. Okay, what's first? To identify and understand the pattern of the data. You want to see what the pattern of data you have. Is the positive, negative, or there's no pattern or curvature, and so on. First of all, you're gonna see what's the data set. And then to identify the relationship between two variables, okay? For example, smoking can affect heart attack. The relationship between age and systolic blood pressure, okay? And so on. There's a lot of relationship between the variables to compare or identify the difference between variables, okay? What's the difference between two data sets, between two companies, between two groups, between two countries, okay, and so on. Explain cause and effect of the phenomenon. To forecast of the outcome for the future. For example, now we have in 2021, what happened to 2030 for that issue, for that case, okay? Two main analysis. We have two main: descriptive statistics, okay, and inferential statistics. Under the descriptive statistics, which summarize data from the sample using indexes such as. You can use the frequency table to find the descriptive statistics, or you can choose one of the charts and chart frequency, polygon, curve, bar chart, scatter, and so on. If you have the quantitative data, you can use histogram or line chart. If you have the qualitative data, you can use bar chart, pie chart. Also, you can use the scatter plot for the quantitative data, especially to find out the correlation between two data sets. Measure of central tendency, mean, median, mode. Okay, you can make some comparison according to central tendency, or measures of dispersion of variation, which conclude range, variance, standard deviation. I'm gonna discuss some of them. Okay, for example, under this thesis, okay, title, what you have the frequency table. We have the frequency table in this topic about the divorce between men and women. In here, the sample size is 494. This is the frequency table. It's gonna represent your data set. It said 51.4% are male and 48.6% the male. In here, we can conclude that the percentage of female is higher than the percentage of male in this city named Erbil, okay, depending on this frequency. Or if you make the compare between men and women with one of the demographic questions, which is level of education. Under the level of education, we have these types, and we can make the comparison between men and women. You can use this frequency table for the first part in your questionnaire form, which name it demographic questions, personal questions, okay, on your research. Another thing, also you can represent your data set, okay, depend on the chart. This is the bar chart, okay? It's the same that we have it in here, frequency table. Now we create the chart. The percentage of the female higher than the percentage of male. Or you can make the line chart. This line chart, it's the percentage of the divorce, it's going to compare between 3 countries or 3 regions. USA, Iraq as a red line, Kurdistan region of Iraq as a green line. It's easy to see the comparison between these countries from 2008 till 2017. If just I talk about my region as a Kurdistan region of Iraq, after 2013, the number of divorce or the percentage of the divorce increasing. There's a lot of reasons happen in my region, which is the ISIS coming, okay, Daesh, and the financial crisis, and there's no job. There's a lot of other issues happen in my country. That's why the percentage of the divorce get higher and higher. Another thing is inferential statistics. What the inferential statistics means, you're going to estimate the population from the sample size that you have been taking. How? Okay, we have a bunch of tests, some of the hypothesis tests, which here, under the hypothesis tests, you're going to compare the mean. Okay, for example, for one sample t-test, you have one mean, you're going to compare with the specific value. Independent sample t-test, you have 2 independent sample t-tests, you're going to compare the mean of them. For example, the mean of between men and women with the blood pressure, with the age, with the average of the one of the scores in the exam. Okay, you have 2 independent groups in here, male and female. Paired sample t-test, also in here you have 2 groups. You're going to make the comparison between them. For example, we said some of them, they're going to lose their weight, they're going to do diet. Before they go to the hospital or any exercise, they're going to scale their weight. After 2 months, again, the same person, they're going to rescale to see what's the difference between the mean of weight before they are doing any exercise, after 2 months who doing the exercise. And this is said the paired sample t-test or dependent sample t-test. One way ANOVA, if you want to compare between more than 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, you're going to use the one-way ANOVA. Of course, every single of them, they have the assumption, okay, different assumption. Chi-square test is going to find the association between 2 nominal data sets. For example, gender and smoking. Under the gender, you have male and female. Under the smoking, you have smoker and non-smoker. Okay. Correlation and regression, both data sets should be in here, quantitative, scale data. Correlation is going to find the relationship between 2 variables. Regression is going to find the effect on one variable to the second variable. We're going to discuss in this future slides. Factor analysis is another one. Time series analysis. These analysis, these hypotheses under the inferential statistics. Of course, we have more and more analysis, okay? Under this title of the paper, we did the chi-square test to see, okay, what's the difference between men and women according to what? Second marriage, stingy, dominance of marriage, the couple parents interfere their lives, infertility, modern technology. If you see these variables are nominal using 5-point Likert scale, strongly agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. I didn't put it in here because I don't have enough space. In here also another nominal data set, which is men and women. It means we have 2 data sets, gender with the second marriage, gender with the stingy. Now we can make the chi-square test, but also you have to follow the assumption, okay, for the chi-square test. If you look at the p-value, all these p-values gonna tell you they are different association, okay, because the p-value are less than 0.05. First one, second one, third one, fourth one, okay, the mean of women higher than the mean of men. It means second marriage, stingy, dominance, couple parents infertility are affected women rather than men, while social technology are affected men rather than women, because according to the mean is higher than that. This is the chi-square test. Under this paper, which is my paper, I'm going to show up independent sample t-test and one-way ANOVA. For the independent sample t-test, we have C, what's the assumption? Assumptions in here should be randomly, that is, the data set should be randomly, normally distributed, and the scale data, which one of them would be scale, okay? Under the ANOVA table also you have to say this is the normally distributed, and randomization, and scale data, and homogeneous of variance. You have to check also the homogeneous of variance. Okay, first one, gender with the overall depression. Overall depression is one of my scale data, depend on the 5-point Likert scale. I'm gonna compare with the mean of the male and female. We have two branches in here. That's why you use independent sample t-test. But overall depression, sorry, with the age, because you have more than two types, two branches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classification in here. That's why I used one-way ANOVA. And also we're gonna follow out the p-value to see is there any difference between the mean of the male and female. Of course, there is a difference because the p-value is less than 0.05, and you see the mean of the female is higher than the mean of the male. It means more of the females has depression of the male during the COVID-19, which happened in the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020. But according to the age, there is no difference because the p-value is higher than. It means there is no the difference between the depression with the age classification as we have in here. Another thing in here, we're gonna talk about the regression. This is in one of my book, which is the elementary statistics book I have been published in 2016. Now, before you do the regression analysis, you have to follow this assumption: linearity, independent of error, normality, equal variance, autocorrelation, multicollinearity, and so on. You have to follow all the assumptions, and then you can do the regression. First of all, independent variable in here is the age. Dependent variable is the systolic blood pressure. It means age is gonna affect the systolic blood pressure. We have the blood pressure, but by increasing the age, the systolic blood pressure would be changed. And now we're gonna see how much gonna change it, okay? First of all, you have to find the correlation. If you see the correlation in here is 0.99, it means you have the strong positive correlation between the age and systolic blood pressure. It means increasing the age would be increase the blood pressure, okay? Under the result of the regression, this is the result for the regression formula: y hat equal beta naught plus beta 1 age. Yi in here, we have the systolic blood pressure as a dependent variable. This is the constant, which is 81.29 plus beta 1, which is 1.63. Most of them said slope. It is the slope h. What does it mean? It means, depend on that result, we have it in here, increasing 1 unit of the age will increase blood pressure by 1.63. It means 1 year of the age increasing, the systolic blood pressure would be increasing by 1.63. It means you have the positive relationship between the age and systolic blood pressure. Thank you so much for your time to that presentation. I'm really sorry again in the end that 2 times my internet was cut out. Sorry about that. Thank you so much again for everyone. I'm glad to be here today again and again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much to Mr. Hasan Balabas for giving us such a interesting presentation today. Now come the question and answer session. So,
Yes, sir.
okay. Is there any question? As I see in the chat box, there is no question. So I would like to be the questioner. Okay, dear Mr. Hasan, the first thing that, the only thing that I want to asking is about, is there any, or what is the best data analysis technique for the qualitative research?
Yeah, for the qualitative, okay, because your questions is a quality. For example, you have the, it means you have the nominal data set like gender, male, female, like level of education, primary school, secondary school, and so on. You have to do which test is the best for the quality. For example, we talked about in here the chi-square test. Okay, the chi-square test, it's going to help you to see the association between two nominal qualitative. Okay, for example, gender with the smoker and non-smoker people. Okay, for some other, especially for the business administration students, okay, they have some factors, okay? For example, quality gonna affect the performance and such like that. They do have more than one questions in one factor, For example, they have 3, 4, 5 questions in one factor. Now what we can do this, because these questions are qualitative, you can make some, or you can find the average for all the questions in one factor that you have it, and then you can represent at the quantitative data set to find the correlation, to find the regression, and so on.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Hasan.
Yes.
Is there any question? As I see in the chat box, there is no question anymore. So I think thank you for the question and answer session. And before we close this session, I'd like to giving Mr. Hasan the best moment to make a closing statement. There, Mr. Hasan, time is yours for closing statement.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Okay. Dear Mr. Hasan, before we close this session, I'd like to give you. Kenapa? Okay. Dear Mr. Hasan, can you hear my voice?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Dear Miss Judith, is there any question from any participant or not?
No.
Oh,
so
okay.
far, no. I think it's really clear. So
yes.
Yeah.
No, I hear Mr. Wilson say that there is a question from the participant. Okay. If there is no question anymore, I'd like to give Mr. Hasan a moment to make a closing statement. Mr. Hasan, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's really honor to me to be here today. I would like to thank everyone who participated in this session. I would like to everyone who recognized this conference. I'm pretty sure behind this conference, there's a lot of people who are working in doing this conference. It takes a lot of time and it's hard working to be here. Again and again, I'm really thank you for everyone. And in the end, I would say I'm sorry to cut my internet 2 times. Have a nice day for everyone. Goodbye and see you soon in the next conference, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hasser. Finally, give applause to our speaker and thank you to all.
Foto.
Oh, okay. The Mr. Hasser, we're gonna take a picture together. So they're all participants. You can turn on your camera.
Okay, please turn on your camera. Many participants turn off. Okay, 1, 2, 3, back 1. Well done. Back to MC.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wilson, and what a great pleasure to Mr. Blabas that you are here. You have given us really awesome information about getting data and doing the research. And I want to read the comments from participants from Bandi Omer Abdullah. He said that Dr. Blabas, one of the success researcher about analyzing data. And also there's a comment from Linerda. She said, thank you, sir, what an awesome presentation. And it's really honor that you are here with us, Mr. Blobus, and we hope to see you in the next seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And for the next speaker, I'll invite Dr. Ahmed Elgar. His title is IoT-based smart cold chains temperature monitoring with alarm system for vaccination container directed to universities and schools. I'll invite Mr. Isaac to lead this session. Time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Judith. Can you hear my voice clear?
Yes, it's very clear. Yes.
The Honorable Mr. and Madam Speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Indonesia and good morning maybe in India's own time. And I'm Isaac Pawarangan and I'll be the moderator for this session. And before the presentation begin, allow me to introduce the presenters by sharing the PowerPoint. Share. So the presenter for this session will be delivered by Mr. Dr. Ahmed A. Elgar, PhD. Mr. Dr. Ahmed A. Elgar is the assistant professor at the Faculty of Computers and Artificial Intelligence, Computer Science Department's Beni Suef University, Egypt. And he is also the director of Technological and Informatics Studies Center at Beni Suef University, and founder and chairman of Scientific Innovation Research Group, SIRG, in the same university, and deputy director of the International Ranking Office, and also managing editor of Journal of Cybersecurity and Information Management, GCIM, and also the deputy editor of International Journal of Informatics, Media and Communication Technology, or IGCIMCT. And Mr. Dr. Ahmed Elgar, are you in the meeting, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
May you can prepare your presentation, sir?
Yes.
So Mr. Dr. Ahmed Elgar, PhD, will going to present a paper entitled IoT-based smart cold chain temperature monitoring with other system for vaccination container directed to universities and schools. And Mr. Dr. Ahmad Elgar have 45 minutes, including question and answer session. And as an information to all the participants, if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box and will be answered in the question and answer session. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dr. Ahmad A. Elgar. Mr. Dr. Ahmad A. Elgar, PhD, the time is yours.
Hey, thanks so much for this, for introducing me, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm here still in the morning in Egypt, so I would like to say good morning and good afternoon to Indonesian people. So it's really my pleasure to be with all of you now, and I'd like to thanks all organizers for this international conference of education and science from the UK, Toraja of Indonesia. Also, I would like to thank my dear best friend, Professor Mutmainna, because she's invited me to be with all of you now. And without her, I can't meet all of you. And also, I would like to thank my dear friend Andy and the Professor Andy and the Professor Dr. Abdul Ghaffar. They are my really good friend to me. So I'd like to thank all of them. Second of all, I'd like to ask all of you to take care of yourself and be safe from COVID-19 during this pandemic period of time. And we need to pray to ask Allah to remove this virus from all around the world. Thirdly, I'd like to introduce myself, but my dear friend is really give a good introduction about myself. So let me pass this this section. So my outline is divided into two parts. So the first one is I would like to give an introduction about the Bani Sueb University. Then the second part, I would like to talk about the Internet of Things. Maybe I would like to maybe change the title of my presentation because I'd like to talk about the new technologies. We need to use it because we are really in the bad pandemic period of time. So that's why I want to talk about these two technologies, very, very important technologies nowadays. So I'd like to talk about the Internet of Intelligent Things, IoT, as a new revolution. So I will give a background about this topic, and I would like to give a talk about the IoT vision and architecture, because at this moment we don't have the standard architecture. That's why you can put your fingerprint on this technology, and how can you use it in all fields around the world. Also, how to providing value to IoT with artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques. And also, I'd like to talk about the benefits of using Internet of Things and artificial intelligence together. Very, very important. I'd like to give some examples about IoT with the artificial intelligence. Then I would like to give some challenges faced by artificial intelligence in IoT. Finally, I will give some conclusion about my topics. Let us start for the first part of my presentation to introduce my university, Bani Sueb University. This is the buildings of my university. We have 3 campuses of my university. A very, very big university in the Middle East, not in Egypt only, but in the Middle East. We have three campuses and the more faculties. So if you look at here, you can find the maps, and if you go to the Egypt, then you can asked to how to go to Bani Swift city, you can find here my Bani Swift city in my heart here. So if you are here in Bani Swift city, you can ask how to go to the Bani Swift University. You will be smile, and we are so proud if you are with us. So welcome to Bani Swift University. As you know, Cairo University established its branch in Bani Swift city in 1981. Then in Bani Swift city, then Bani Swift University was established as a standalone based on the presidential decree in 2005, and they resigned from the prestige of the Cairo University. So the president of Bani Swift University is Prof. Dr. Mansour Hassan. He is president of Bani Swift University from Faculty of Medicine, Bani Swift University, Egypt. So the faculties of Bani Swift University, the university includes more than 33 faculties. Very, very big university, like Faculty of Computers and Artificial Intelligence, Commerce, Law, Arts, Science, Education, Medicine, Nursing, Engineering, and so on. So about the student and the facilitates, so Bani Swift University includes more than 92,000 in undergraduate and postgraduate students who enrolled in 75 undergraduate, postgraduate, and 336 postgraduate programs, 87 diploma, 118 master, and 131 PhD programs. In addition, Bani Swift University has a valuable and promising component in terms of materials, resources of structures, buildings, and land, which amount total area of almost 636 acres. Very, very big university. So if you want to have more information about Bani Swift University, please, you can visit this website. Also, you can contact with me. I will give you more introduction about the Bani Swift University. Now, let us move to the second part of my presentation. I would like to talk about the Internet of Intelligent Things, IOIT, as a new revolution. So let us give a background about my topic. So artificial intelligence, as you know, and the Internet of Things are both unique technologies in their own. But the important question is, what makes them even more interesting? Very, very big, important question. Simply, when they are intersecting, there are clear intersection between the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So IoT is about concerning machines and connecting machines and making them of the data generated from those machines. So artificial intelligence is about simulating the intelligent behavior of machines of all kinds of humans. But what comes in your mind when you're thinking about the term of IoT? Probably if we have a bunch of devices that can understand each other through the connectivity. So IoT allows us to connect independent devices together and make the most of them by allowing them to exchange data and interact. So you can imagine the power of data collected through all devices. So to help to realize this vision, artificial intelligence come into the picture. So artificial intelligence has created a wide range of applications in many domains, including healthcare, finance, education, smart home, and so on. Many fields and applications. Therefore, combining artificial intelligence with Internet of Things brings the promise of a new future, as both technologies communicate and they revolve around a common measure of data. So data combined or also obtained from the connected devices can be increased further with the help of artificial intelligence. And the smarter insight can be obtained from it. But we need to know more about the IoT vision and architecture. So we have to know that the Internet of Things has become one of the hottest research topic nowadays. So Internet of Things application will affect many aspects of the people's lives, bringing about many convenience. That's why we need to know about the visions of our Internet of Things, which is based on the things, internet, and semantic perspective, as you can see in this figure. So the things vision, this vision provides a perspective that all real physical objects as a sensors or actuator or devices can have attached together to get real-time information from them. This vision provides the best for integration of those of all things to collaborate together. The second vision is internet vision. As you can see, this vision. So this vision provides the perspective that all of devices can connect together via internet, and it can be described as a smart object. But we need to know the difference between the smart object and the Internet of Things object. The smart object is like TV or like maybe a refrigerator or something like this, or wash machine, something like that. This is working as by timer or other smarter. But when we talk Internet of Things object, this object can talk with other objects behind it. That's why you can connect over the internet, and they can talk together and give action and take the action, something like that. That's why we need to differentiate between the smart object and the Internet of Things object. This can be accomplished by using unique IP for each connected device. That's why we are moving from IP version 4 to IP version 6, because everything around the world, it will be connected to the internet. That's why we need to have more IPs, because we will get like watch, like TV, like lamp, like everything around the world will need to connect the internet using a unique IP. That's why we need to move to IP version 6. Now we go to the semantic vision. This vision provides the perspective that all data collected from curious sensors need to be analyzed for meaningful interpretation. So now we have a huge data. It's called a big data. This is a branch also in the computer science. So by collecting these all data, we need to have information. That's why we need to analyze this data to get this information. That's why we are talking about the semantic vision. This vision provides the base of semantic integration between the use of semantic middleware. But we need to talk about the IoT architecture. Until now, we don't have standard Internet of Things architecture. So as a researcher, you can working upon this point. You can put your fingerprint. Maybe you can working on any layers, because some researchers talk about 3 layers, some other talk about 5 layers, but we need to talk about the primarily, it's because it's divided into 3 layers. The perception layer, like sensors like RFID, GPS, something like that. The second layer is the network layer, like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and so on. And the application layer, because we need to exchange the data, we need to talk about the protocols that carry the data and move from user to user or machine to machine, something like that. So we need to talk about some protocols like CoAP and MQTT. All of these layers, you can put your fingerprint and going to make a standard. Maybe you can put the standard and the organizations can approve about your architecture, and you can rate them by your name, something like that. So till now, we don't have a standard IoT architecture, but we need now to provide a value to the IoT with the artificial intelligence. So as we know, the artificial intelligence come handy with another technology under the umbrella, this technology called the machine learning, or ML. Often used to interchangeably, the term of AI and the ML were working on the principle of developing software program that processes intelligence. Moreover, this intelligence allowed them to analyze data and make decisions similar to how human brain does it seem. Since the sense of IoT devices is to gather data and make use of it, placing data obtained from the physical devices through the machine learning and artificial intelligence allow us to expand upon these processes. Thus, the Internet of Things, or the Internet of Intelligent Things, use artificial intelligence to bring more value to the IoT domain by better interpreting the data obtained from the connected device. But how? This is a very, very good question. So the devices, when a device is connected in IoT network, they're linked by the sensors and the actuator rapid with the software and hardware to provide the human with the logical inputs. And besides, the foundation of the Internet of Things is the machine learning and artificial intelligence, because it allows these devices to make sense of the data collected through them. When a set of connected devices collect the raw data and combine it, the software program enabled with the machine learning capabilities take these data and analyze them. However, after through analysis, the output obtained contains valuable information. So the benefits of using artificial intelligence with Internet of Things together, the Internet of Intelligent Things makes IoT applications realize their full potential. Therefore, artificial intelligence and the machine learning bring more detailed data and insight to the able and the faster pace. In addition, enterprises are looking forward to make use of Internet of Intelligent Things to reap the following benefits. The first one is improving accuracy rate. Let me say something first. If you have ever tried to analyze data from multiple sheets in your computer, you must have realized that it is tedious job. As you know, human brains are limited to perform certain tasks at a certain rate. And when the mind are exhausted, we are even more prone to make error. Therefore, the Internet of Intelligent Things has the power to break down the large quantities of data coming and going through devices. So the best part about this is that since the whole process is a machine and software driven, it can be performed without any human intervention, which makes it error-free and improve accuracy rates. For example, online payments, as you know, and e-commerce transactions are prone to high risks of tricky activities. With the combined power of human understanding and IoT machine learning and the techniques of artificial intelligence, potentially frauds can be taken into account in advance, thus preventing the loss of money. The second benefits is the predictive analysis and the maintenance. What about the predictive analysis? It refers to a branch of analysis that looks at the existing data, and based on the outcomes, it predicts the possible future events. It would be not be exaggeration to say that Internet of Things and artificial intelligence are foundation of predictive maintenance. Currently, IoT devices are being used by enterprises to report any mishaps or concerned like equipment failure, etc., in an automated manner without human intervention. However, by adding artificial intelligence, this method will allow machine to perform predictive analysis, which means that enterprises will be able to detect possible mishaps and failure in advance and work on their maintenance. So due to this, the chance of losses are decreased, as you know, as the condition are being detected even before failure. Also, this will add up huge benefits in a saving cost of big corporation and helping them to provide setbacks in their business. For example, shipping companies can also predict predictive analysis to check the analysis of their data timely to avoid any sudden downtime of ship and keep maintaining their ships through the regular servicing from time to time. Very, very important. Also, the third benefit is improving customer satisfaction. The core of every business is a customer satisfaction, as we know. Therefore, companies like Amazon have earned the badge of being the most customer-centric company by keeping the priorities of their customers before everything else. However, human-based customer enterprises fails at a certain time due to several factors such as time constraint, etc. Companies are recognizing the power of artificial intelligence by enabling chatbots for the interacting with the customers. Huge amount of customer data can be used to provide them with a more personalized experience as per their choices and solving their queries accordingly. Let me give some examples of IT and artificial intelligence like classroom monitoring system. Very, very important nowadays because we are in a pandemic period of time. As we know, we are in the bad situation during the pandemic period of time. While it might raise a certain argument, these systems have been already implemented in some high schools in China, as you know. The classroom cameras scan the room once per 30 seconds, maybe, and the algorithm is able to determine students' emotions like happy, sad, bored, etc. And all as well as the behavior of students like reading, writing, raising hand, etc. According to the school's vice principal, the system is managed locally and is focused on the behavior of the whole class rather than the single individual. The data is gathered by the cameras and the image recognition step is performed at the local servers. These examples show how complex a problem can be solved by using artificial intelligence with the data which is extremely come from IoT devices. Very, very important, and still have time to put your fingerprint on these kinds of the technologies. So as a demand of these solutions increases, the tool to build these systems are becoming more valuable and convenient to use. Also, the second example of the IoT and artificial intelligence is a healthcare. So in the healthcare sector, artificial intelligence together with the Internet of Things network can improve patient care. So sensors from the medical devices, such as healthcare mobile apps, fitness tracker, and digital medical records have been producing and sorting patients' data. Also, the artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things approaches can help predict diseases. Still have time to work. I want to say that one more time. So it will give us the benefits to suggest the preventive maintenance, track physical activity, heartbeat, body mass, temperature, and provide drug admissions by reviewing the medical history and identifying the health problem. When it is regarding health protection or diseases control, patients and the good doctors will accept the benefits that come with the artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things approach, but still have some challenges faced by artificial intelligence in Internet of Things. Like what? The first one is a compatibility. So, which means that the Internet of Things is a compilation of many parts and systems that are fundamentally different in time and space. So we need to make it adaptation between all these systems, all these sensors, all these devices, many brands. We need to make it compatible to each other to interact with each other. So this is very big challenge in IoT with artificial intelligence. The second one is complexity, which means that Internet is a complicated system with many moving parts of the continuous flow of the data, which make it very complicated ecosystem. We have many sensors, so we have a lot and huge data. We need to adapt this data to analyze it, to take information and because we need to make a decision. So very important and big challenge in IoT with artificial intelligence. The third one is ethical and legal issues. It is a new world, yes, for many companies in which there is no precedence that this has not been tested with the new laws and the cases that emerging quickly. That's why we need to ask the governance to make the regulation is easy for the researcher, because we need to make more and more experiment to have innovations and the artificial intelligence with IoT. So for me, I'm talking about myself. I need to some sensors, but because I can't find here in Egypt, I need to make it shipping from another country. But we have a bad regulation. I can't take these. I can't bring these sensors from other countries. So we need to make a flexibility between the countries, because we need to use this a new technology in our country. I'm talking about all countries, not Egypt only, maybe Indonesia and India and others. So we need to thinking about the laws and how to use these new technologies in all around the world. Finally, I need to give some conclusion about my presentation. So while the Internet of Things extremely impressive, in reality, it does not serve much without a good artificial intelligence system to take advantage of it. So without artificial intelligence, okay, I can take the data from the Internet of Things, all devices and sensors, but it's still data. I need to analyze. I need to take a decision. I need to understand what the meaning of this data. So we need to make a compatibility between artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Therefore, both technologies need to achieve the same level of development to function as perfectly as we think they should. Now, scientists are trying to find ways to get smarter data analysis software and devices for safe and effective Internet of Things to come true. But because we use the tiny and the low processing and the memories, that's why the protocols we are using now is not adapted with this kind of the sensors and the devices. So still have time to make these new technologies to adapt with the existing protocols, or we can do another new protocols. It will be used, can be used in the or the device of Internet of Things. It could be some time before the happens, because the development of the artificial intelligence go behind that of IoT, although nevertheless the possibility is still there. In addition, the integration of artificial intelligence into function of Internet of Things is fast becoming condition of the digital ecosystem success based on the day of Internet of Things. Therefore, companies have to move quickly to identify how they will gain the value of the combining artificial intelligence with the Internet of Things, or face up to its updating in the coming years. The only way to keep pace with this data generated by Internet of Things and obtain the hidden knowledge it contains, it is use artificial intelligence as the ultimate catalyst for the Internet of Things. So we need the governance and the private companies working together to thinking how to make regulations and to update these regulations, and to update the ideas and make it the prototype and the already product with, so people can use it easily, because it will make a comfortable life to to the people around the world. So as I said, you still have time to work in those kind of the technologies like Internet of Things with the artificial intelligence. And also I need to invite all of you to, we can work together under the umbrella of the Scientific Innovation Research Group. This is my group, and this is registered as a governance in Egypt. So I need to ask you if you want to collaborate together, because we are working in this is the main topics to find a solution in Internet of Things with the artificial intelligence and the big data and the other approaches. We can work together to produce good papers, patent, and the others. So I invite all of you to collaborate together under the umbrella of Scientific Innovation Research Group, or under my university, Bani Suef University. Finally, I would like to thank all of you, and also I would like to thank the organizers and of this very good conference. And also I'd like to thank special thanks for Professor Mutmainna, Professor Andy, and Professor Abdul Ghaffar, and all my friends and all participants. And again and again, I invite all of you to work with me under the umbrella of Scientific Innovation Research Group. Thanks so much, and I hope this presentation give you a little bit information about the new technologies and how can we use it, and some example of the artificial intelligence with the Internet of Things. And thanks so much. And if you have any questions, so I'm here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Ahmed A. Elgar, PhD, for your great presentations. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the question and answer session. So once again, all the participants, if you have any questions, you can write in the chat box and will be answered by Mr. Dr. Ahmed. And in here, we have a question from Mr. Wilson Jeffrianto. The question is, how to provide Internet of Things system at the area which has bad internet connection?
Yeah, very, very good question. Yes, very good question. But this is not our responsibility. The responsible of that is the governance. So we need to ask. That's why I'm talking about the governance and the private companies. Yes, yes, we can't do anything without a good connection and internet connection. You know, in Egypt, the cable of the internet is come under the river, the sea in Egypt, and still now we have a bad connection. See the mentality. I don't like that, but what can we do? We need to ask the responsible to thinking about that. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed, for your answer. And once again, for all the participants, if you have any question, you can write it in the chat box. If there is any question? Or maybe for all the participants, if you have a question, you can asking directly to the professor and will be Dr. Ahmed Elner, I mean.
And I will put my contact in the chat box here, so you can contact me anytime.
Yes, please, sir.
Yes, thanks so much, and thanks for all participants and all organizers and everyone, and again special for Professor Mutmain. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Maybe I have one question.
Okay.
Actually, I'm working at the electrical engineering, and some of our students develop what is it? What is it? How to say develop or research in the developing of Internet of Things, but the problem is for offline situation, it cannot working properly. So sometimes we have to connecting with internet first. So the problem is the connection. Actually, the connection.
Yes, the connection. Yes, it's a connection. That's why we can make a local server. After that, if we have assured that we have a good connection, we can push the data over the internet. But this is not the concept of Internet of Things. Internet of Things is need to be all the time connected over the internet. But what can we do? Just we need to overcome this problem. Maybe we have a chance to get a good connection one day.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Once again, there's any question anymore? If there is no any questions, so maybe we have to take a photos for documentation. Mr. Wilson Giganto.
Thank you, Share, for your presentation.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, I want to take a picture. Please, all of participants, turn on your camera. Okay, many participants is okay. One, two, three. Once again. Okay, well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson Giganto.
Thanks so much for all. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, sir. Before we closing session, may you have your closing statement? If you have any closing statement before we end the session.
Okay, for what?
Closing statement, sir.
Any closing statement? Like what? I don't understand.
Like conclusion of what we have been talking about.
Oh, okay, the conclusion, yes. The conclusion is, the conclusion is, please governance take care of the researcher and give them all the facilitate, to think, to bring them, to make them thinking more and more, and to give them the a good regulation to use the sensors and the devices. So one word, need to work hard. Thanks so much.
Why?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say thanks again for Mr. Dr. Ahmad Engar, PhD, for the informative and interesting talks, and to all the participants for your participations. Hopefully, the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you for your attention. Good afternoon.
Thanks
From
so
Indonesia.
much. Thank you so
Mr.
much, and thank you. And thanks for and good morning from Egypt. Still from good morning. Now it's the 10 a.m. but still morning.
Still morning. Thank you.
Inshallah. Okay. Thanks so for all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
See you next to conference, inshallah. And I
See you
have
in
Yeah,
another.
amen.
yes, thank you. And I hope
Amen.
to you a successful conference this time and in the future, inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Isaac, who has led the session with Dr. Ahmed Elgar. And what an awesome presentation from Dr. Elgar. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the second parallel session. Before further ado, I'd like to inform you some points that we have to do. So there will be 5 rooms in this parallel session. So room 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be joining break rooms, and room 5 will be staying in this main room. So Mr. Wilson, would you please to activate the break room, please?
Okay. For the list of the room section.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Please, Miss Judith, share the.
Yes, I will.
Parallel session 2.
So. Yes, once again, ladies and gentlemen, so there will be 5 rooms in this parallel session 2. So room 1, room 2, room 3, and room 4 will be joining the break rooms, and room participants in room 5 will be staying in this main room. And
okay, please. You can choose the room. There are 4 rooms and plus this room. Let participant choose room. Okay, please.
Miss Judith.
Okay, you can click the breakout rooms menu in your Zoom meeting. Menu breakout rooms. You can choose room 1, 2, enter room 4, and this main room is room 5. Please.
Sorry, Mr. Wilson, we cannot join in room 1.
Please again.
Okay.
You can choose join in room. The main join. Please select join in each room.
There is no choice. Recreate a room.
Okay, I
Put in.
okay.
Yeah, Mr. Khairil, room 5 is here in the main room. Yeah, in this room. Di room 1-2 ada dulu mencari Pak Wilson.
So how about room 1? Is it room 1 or?
Oh yeah.
Main room, Miss Elim.
Also, I in main room. No.
You are in.
Yes, but I live in room 1.
This is the main room.
The main room. Okay. Yeah, let's start. Ya.
Weh, Pertikaruru masuk room berapa?
Sorry. You can mix your language, but try to speak in English first.
Pertikaruru in room.
Right? Okay. I hope you can practice your English and then.
Elementar na bagi.
In schedule. Yes, no problem. Pertikaruru in room 5.
Ada. Itu no room 5.
Okay, the committee, can I start?
Mr. Isaac, you can continue the parallel session in this room. This is room 5.
Yes, thank you,
Thank you.
Miss.
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are going to begin our parallel session, and this is the room 5. So I'm going to share the presenters of this room. The first presenter is Muhammad Ali Gunawan, Khairul Anwar, Muhammad Agung Manumanoso, and the second one is Utwi Tatang Suntani and friends, and the third presenter will be delivered by Perdi Karuru and friends, and the next is Desi Trianggreni and friends, and the fifth will be delivered by Asriwati Biringkana and friends, and the last but not least, Elche Purwandari and friends. Once again, I would like to say welcome to the parallel session as a part of the first UKIToraja International Conference on Science and Education. And once again, for all the presenters, every presenter have 15 minutes. So once again, every presenters have 15 minutes, including question and answer session. Once again, every presenters have 15 minutes, including question and answer session. So please use your time properly. And the first presenter is Muhammad Ali Gunawan. Are you in the meeting? Muhammad Ali Gunawan. Muhammad Ali Gunawan, Khairul Anwar, Muhammad Agung Manumanoso Prasetyo, Elche Purwandari. Are you in the meeting? Please unmute your microphone first. Khairul, your microphone still mute. Mr. Khairul. Can you hear me, Mr. Khairul Anwar Tebo? But I can hear your voice. I can hear your voice. Khairul, please click the button click the button first in the microphone and then unmute. I can hear your question. Yeah, I can hear your voice. Sorry, I can hear your voice. Okay, while Khairul Anwar Tebo prepare the presentations, maybe we are going to the next presenter. We are back to the Khairul Anwar Tebo after the second presenters, and the second presenters will be going to or will be delivered by Utwi Tatang Suntani, Sudarman Nadim, Fitri Aprilyanti. Are you in the meeting? Excuse me. Utwi Tatang Suntani, Sudarwan Danim, Fitri Aprilyanti. Are you in the meeting? Okay. Khairul Anwar, are you ready? I see Khairul Anwar here and LJ too, but I can hear your voice. You can unmute your microphone first. Mr. Wilson Jeffrianto. Mr. Wilson Jepiato, please allow the participants to unmute their microphone. I can click the. Actually, I'm not the host of this, so I cannot allow you to unmute your microphone. Okay. Okay. Anwar, can you
hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, Hairul Anwar, we're going to present a paper entitled "Sustainability Developments of Pesantren: A Study of Politics Organizationals." You have 15 minutes, including question and answer session. Time is yours. Mr. Hairul?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, please.
Okay. Yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes, it's clearly. It's clearly.
Okay, thank
Please
you.
go on to your presentation.
I'm sorry, it seems that there were some troubles because the host didn't allow us to unmute ourselves, so it takes some minutes to join this conference. Sorry, sir.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, the honorable all the previous speakers and the honorable all the committee and the organizer of the first UK conference, an international conference, and then I am Hairul Anwar as the presenter of my team. I'm going to present our article about the sustainable development of pesantren. This is a case of pesantren in political organizational, and then let me share the screen first. Share screen. Okay, can you see everyone? Okay. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Still on progress. Maybe there's
progress.
no presentation.
Any problem?
Okay.
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 Yes.
Please.
Okay, our paper entitled by Sustainability Development of Pesantren, a study of politics organizational. Okay, the author of this paper are Muhammad Ali Gunawan, and then me myself Hairul Anwar, and then my friends from Aceh, Muhammad Anggung Manoso Prasetyo, and the last is Miss Elsa Purwanda